Just before you do, JBYD, navigating love at every stage. Relationships don't come with a manual, but they do have milestones. Whether you're nervously prepping for a first date, considering the talk, or navigating the complexities of a long-term marriage, the Just Before You Do, JBYD series is your companion for the journey. Join Tunda Disu, relationship coach on JBYD, as we dive into the intricacies of human connection. From the initial spark of the first meeting to the foundational work of marriage and the maintenance of a lifelong partnership. Let's tackle the hard questions designed to help you make that informed decisions before you take the next big step. Let us explore the why behind the behaviors and the how of building a love that lasts. So, before you swipe, before you commit, and before you walk down the aisle, watch and listen to JBYD just before you do. Thank you.
Have you ever, bitten your tongue and just held on to a minor grievance, simply to keep the peace in a relationship?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, the exact scenario.
Yeah.
Your partner does that thing that drives you crazy,
Yeah.
or they make an offhand comment that stings a little too much.
Yeah, but you don't say anything.
Exactly. Instead of bringing it up and causing friction, you just swallow it. You smile, you move on.
Because it feels like the noble thing to do.
Totally. It feels like the polite, mature, low-maintenance choice.
Yeah.
But what if that exact instinct, that deeply ingrained desire to just be nice and avoid a fight, is actually a highly destructive force?
Yeah, it is a profound paradox that most of us are just completely blind to.
Right.
Culturally, we are taught that compromise, letting things go, biting our tongues, we think those are the hallmarks of a stable, healthy partnership.
I mean, that's what all the advice says.
Exactly. But the material we are diving into today argues that this instinct is often the very mechanism that tears a relationship apart from the inside out.
Which is wild. So that is the mission of our deep dive today. We are exploring excerpts from Tunda Disu's work, specifically a piece titled Dismantling the Mind Jail, Breaking the Relational Tailspin.
Yes, which is a core component of the broader JBYD framework.
Right. And we are going to deconstruct why choosing artificial peace over authentic alignment, why it doesn't save a relationship. It actually slowly starves it.
It does. It really does.
And more importantly, we are going to map out the exact jailbreak protocol the text provides to escape this trap. I have to say, reading through this material completely shifted how I view conflict.
It's pretty jarring the first time you read it.
It really is. The premise that good intentions are often the paving stones to a detached, resentful marriage. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around, but the psychology behind it is incredibly sound.
Well, the JBYD framework basically flips our traditional understanding of conflict management totally on its head.
How so?
Usually, couples therapy focuses on how to de-escalate fights, how to calm things down.
Right, like take a breath, use I statements.
Exactly. But Disu's work suggests that for a specific type of couple, those in what the framework calls a stage 1 slip, the problem isn't the fighting.
It's the silence.
Yes. The problem is the polite silence. The silence is the rot.
Wow. And the framework gives this phenomenon a name, and it paints quite a picture. They call it the mind jail. Let's break down the mechanics of how someone actually builds one of these.
So the mind jail operates on a very specific psychological loop. It usually starts with partner A.
Their partner A.
Partner A experiences a friction point, maybe a careless remark from their partner, or, a dropped responsibility.
And you forgot the groceries.
Right. And instead of addressing it, partner A decides to hoard that grievance under the guise of good intentions.
Wow.
They tell themselves they're being a peacekeeper. I don't want to ruin the evening over something so insignificant, they think.
Which sounds so reasonable in the moment.
It does. But internally, a completely different process is taking place. Partner A basically begins functioning as judge, jury, and executioner in a secret mental courtroom.
Oh, wow. So while partner B thinks they were just sitting on the couch watching a movie together,
Yeah.
partner A is actually holding a silent tribunal in their head.
That is exactly the reality of the dynamic. Partner A evaluates the behavior, finds partner B guilty of being, say, inconsiderate or selfish, and silently sentences them.
And I'm guessing this isn't a one-time thing.
Oh, no. It happens repeatedly over a period of months. Partner A files away these convictions in a hidden ledger, essentially building a massive case file against their partner.
And partner B is just completely in the dark.
Totally clueless.
They are going about their life totally unaware that they are an inmate in this invisible prison, accumulating a criminal record for offenses they don't even know they are committing.
Which is why the inevitable explosion is so incredibly damaging.
Right, because eventually it has to come out.
Exactly. The tension in partner A builds until they reach a breaking point. A completely unrelated, usually minor event occurs, and partner A just spills the entire ledger.
And for partner B, who thought everything was totally fine, this does not feel like a disagreement about whoever forgot to run the dishwasher.
Not at all.
It feels like a calculated emotional ambush.
And that ambush is devastating. The text mentions that this triggers a profound crisis of what it calls sovereignty and safety. It refers to it as stable 5-0.
Yeah, we should probably clarify what that means in human terms, because it sounds like a severe psychological system failure.
Well, it is a system failure, honestly. In the framework's map of relational security, stable 0 represents baseline safety. That's
Wow.
the foundational feeling that you are secure in your environment and not under attack by the person closest to you.
Makes sense. And stable 5.
Stable 5 represents full sovereignty, the knowledge that you have agency, that you are respected as an equal peer, and that your reality is valid.
Okay, so when partner B is ambushed with this 6-month-old ledger of secret grievances,
Both of those pillars collapse instantly.
just wiped out.
Yeah, their safety is gone because they are suddenly under heavy fire, and their sovereignty is violated because they realize they were secretly judged without any opportunity to defend themselves.
I mean, if both your baseline safety and your personal sovereignty are ripped away in the span of like 30 seconds,
Yeah,
your physiological response is going to be massive.
fight or flight kicks in hard.
Partner B is going to panic. They're going to get loud, they're going to get defensive, or they're going to attack back. It is a pure survival response to an ambush.
And tragically, that survival response is the exact moment the trap snaps shut.
Oh man, this is the dynamic that is just devastatingly recognizable. Partner B reacts to the ambush with anger or shock. And what does partner A do?
They point right at it.
Yes, they immediately point at that defensive reaction and say, see, this explosive reaction is exactly why I didn't tell you in the first place.
It forms a perfect, impenetrable loop. Partner A hoards the friction, partner B is ambushed and reacts with defensive panic, and then partner A uses that very panic as retrospective justification for their initial silence.
It's brilliant in a really dark way.
It is. Partner A gets to feel validated in their conflict avoidance, and the cycle just cements itself into the foundation of the marriage.
It makes me think of hoarding oily, flammable rags in a hall closet just to keep the living room looking perfectly tidy.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Like, you pat yourself on the back because the house looks clean to guests. You genuinely think you are being a great, low-maintenance partner, but you are actively building a bomb in the walls.
Yeah.
And when the closet inevitably catches fire and the house burns down, you blame the spark. You point at the fire and say, look how dangerous fear is, while completely ignoring the fact that you meticulously supplied all the fuel.
The analogy holds up perfectly because it highlights the illusion of prevention. You think you are preventing a fire, but you are actually guaranteeing an explosion.
Right.
And this structural flaw is why traditional couples therapy advice, simply communicate better or use I statements, often fails miserably here.
Because it's too superficial.
Exactly. You cannot teach a couple to casually rearrange the furniture when the architecture of the house itself is designed to catch fire.
You have to rip out the walls,
You do.
which means deconstructing the illusions both partners are operating under. The framework starts this process in what it calls the war room, and the first target is partner A.
The peacekeeper who built the closet full of rags.
Yes, the mandate here is to strip partner A of their moral high ground.
And the framework relies on a concept called the diagnostic truth to do this. Partner A must be forced to realize that hoarding friction is not a relational virtue.
They add the hero.
No, they are not falling on their sword to protect the marriage. They are engaging in emotional risk management for their own ego.
Wow, that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. They are choosing silence to protect themselves from the temporary, acute discomfort of a difficult conversation. It is an act of self-preservation masquerading as self-sacrifice.
Okay, let me push back on this a bit, because applying this strictly feels incredibly exhausting. Aren't some things genuinely just too insignificant to bring up? Let's say my partner chews their cereal a little too loudly one morning, or they sigh heavily while I'm trying to tell a story.
Right, the little things.
Yeah. Do I really need to initiate a State of the Union address about every minor annoyance? Isn't partner A sometimes just being a reasonable adult and letting the small stuff slide?
Well, that is the exact defense partner A will bring into the war room.
Yeah.
I was just letting the small stuff slide.
Naturally.
But the framework cuts through that with a principle called the forensic reframe. The issue is not the loud serial chewing. The framework doesn't care about the serial.
Right, and what is the issue?
The issue is the ledger. If you actually let the annoyance slide, meaning you experience it, you process it, and you truly release it, then it is gone. It does not exist in the mind jail.
Okay.
But if you hold on to it, if you mentally file away that heavy sigh to resent them for it later, you are no longer letting it slide. You are hoarding data. And by hoarding data, you are denying partner B the right to be a peer in the relationship.
Because if I file it away secretly, I'm making a unilateral decision about the health of the relationship without giving them the data they need to participate.
Yes, you deny them the opportunity to apologize, to provide context, or to correct their behavior in real time. Disu uses a brutal but incredibly accurate term for this: relational insider trading.
Relational insider trading. Wow. That completely reframes the good intentions argument.
It does.
Because, in the financial world, insider trading is a crime because it creates a rigged system. You are letting someone buy stock in a company when you secretly know the CEO is embezzling funds and the stock is about to tank.
That is the exact mechanism at play here. Partner A is holding all the accurate data about the emotional state of the union.
Right.
They know the stock of the relationship is plummeting because of the accumulating grievances, but they smile and play along, actively letting partner B continue to invest time, energy, and affection into a market that partner A knows is failing.
You aren't being nice. You're letting your partner fly blind into a mountain. Which naturally leads us to the psychological state of partner B when they finally realize the instruments were rigged. Finding out you've been flying blind is traumatic.
It's deeply traumatic. The framework labels this trauma deception shock.
Deception shock.
Yeah. When the mind jail is finally breached and the ledger is exposed, partner B's anger is rarely about the hidden, insignificant behaviors themselves. The sheer intensity of the reaction is driven by the sudden loss of historical reality.
The example the text gives to illustrate this loss of reality is chilling. Partner B is suddenly reeling, looking backward through the timeline of the relationship, thinking, wait, 3 months ago on vacation, we were walking on the beach, you were smiling, you were holding my hand, we were taking pictures.
Yeah.
But according to this ledger you just dumped on me, you were secretly resenting me that entire trip because of a comment I made in the taxi on the way to the airport.
It's terrifying.
The terrifying question becomes, was any of it real?
And that's what deception shock does. It shatters trust across time.
Yeah.
It doesn't just ruin the past, it destabilizes the present moment.
How so?
Partner B realizes that their fundamental ability to read the room is broken. They look at their partner's face today, in the present, but they now carry the terrifying knowledge that their partner's outward expression of contentment might not match their internal ledger.
So a smile is no longer just a smile.
Right. It might be a cover for a new grievance being filed away.
If your past is revealed to be a performance and your present is suddenly unreadable, your emotional compass is completely shattered.
Absolutely shattered.
So as partner B is completely disoriented and reacting from a place of pure deception shock, and partner A is retreating behind their wall of, see, this is why I don't tell you things, how does a mediator even step into that room? You can't just ask them to talk it out.
No, you don't ask them to talk it out. The JBYD framework shifts from theory into strict operational overrides at this point.
Okay.
The text refers to the mediator or therapist as the architect. The architect's immediate job is to freeze the room. You have to stop the momentum of the tailspin by enforcing 2 non-negotiable standard operating procedures, or SOPs.
Okay, so the first one is SOPA, and it is directed squarely at partner B.
The one you just got ambushed and is reeling from deception shock.
Right. It's called the reaction tax mandate. The wording sounds bureaucratic, but the application is intense.
Extremely intense. The logic of the reaction tax mandate is grounded in behavioral economics. If partner B wants the truth from partner A, they have to buy it.
Buy it.
Yeah, they have to actively create a physically and emotionally safe marketplace for that truth to be spoken. If partner B taxes the truth with an immediate explosive penalty, yelling, crying, or counterattacking, they are guaranteeing that partner A will retreat back to silence.
So the framework calls it a reaction tax mandate. But translating that into human behavior, it basically tells partner B, You are legally banned from penalizing your partner for finally doing the thing you've been begging them to do, which is tell the truth.
That is the rule. When partner A finally brings up a hidden file, partner B is banned from defending themselves, counterattacking, or doing what the text calls historical kitchen sinking.
Oh, historical kitchen sinking. Meaning you throw everything but the kitchen sink into the argument to deflect. Like, oh, you're annoyed that I left the dishes out. Well, what about that time in 2019 when you forgot to pick me up from the airport?
Exactly. All of that deflection is banned for the first 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes. Partner B must pay what the framework calls the truth subsidy. They have to sit in the discomfort of being criticized without firing back.
That sounds grueling.
It is. The framework even mandates a specific script partner B must use to rewire the dynamic. They must say, "It hurts to hear that you've been carrying this in secret and I feel shocked. But thank you for letting me out of the mind jail. Tell me the whole story so I can understand the leak."
Thank you for letting me out of the mind jail. That phrasing forced his partner B to acknowledge that the immediate pain of the truth is actually a rescue mission.
Really does.
But we can't just put all the burden on the person who was ambushed, right?
No, definitely not.
There are strict rules for partner A as well. This brings us to SOPB, the real-time pricing law.
So SOPB is designed to dismantle partner A's habit of running a subterranean ledger. The goal is to force them to price the relational friction in real time rather than letting it accrue interest in the dark.
Right.
The instruction script here is uncompromising. It says, in this stable, you do not get to save up your grievances to buy an explosion later.
You cannot save up grievances to buy an explosion later.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. It treats conflict avoidance like putting a massive fight on layaway.
Yes.
You keep making small emotional payments into this account until eventually you get to walk out of the store with a relationship-ending blowout.
It's so true. And to prevent that layaway system, the real-time pricing law implements a rigid time frame.
What's the time frame?
48 hours.
Right.
If a boundary is crossed or a significant friction point occurs, the price must be paid immediately. Partner A must deliver the data to partner B within 48 hours.
It functions exactly like a statute of limitations on relationship grievances. If you do not file the charge within 48 hours of the event, the case is permanently thrown out. The text literally states, if you choose silence beyond the 48-hour window, you forfeit the right to resent them. You don't get to casually bring it up 6 months later at a dinner party. You either address it or you truly let it go.
This creates a system of mutual accountability. Partner B is responsible for making it safe to speak by suppressing their reaction tax, and partner A is responsible for taking the risk of speaking up in real time, even when their instinct is to hide.
This all sounds incredibly effective on paper. But, as I was reading the protocol, a glaring practical issue kept coming to my mind.
Which is?
Sitting in that room, asking someone who just realized their reality was fake, who is deep in the physiological throes of deception shock, to just sit quietly for 10 minutes and not defend themselves. Or asking someone who is terrified of conflict to willingly initiate a confrontation within 48 hours.
Yeah, it's a huge ask.
It requires overriding pure adrenaline and deeply ingrained survival instincts. How do two people actually physically do that in the heat of the moment?
It is arguably the most difficult thing a couple can do. And Disu's framework anticipates this exact failure point.
Okay, good. Because it seems almost impossible.
You cannot white-knuckle your way through a 10-minute truth subsidy using the same vocabulary and mindset you've always used to fight. The architecture of your language has to change.
So how do you change it?
To survive the implementation of SOPA and SOPB, the architect must guide the couple to the final, most crucial step of the jailbreak protocol, the Level 4 vulnerability bridge.
Okay, the Level 4 vulnerability bridge. To make sense of that, we have to look at how the framework categorizes conflict, right? It maps arguments on different levels of depth.
Yes, exactly.
And most couples, when they're stuck in the tailspin, are fighting in what the text calls Level 3.
Correct. Level 3 is behavioral combat. It is entirely focused on surface-level actions, tones of voice, and reciprocal blame.
Like a tennis match of accusations.
Precisely. One partner yells, "You are explosive and you always overreact." The other partner fires back, "Well, you are a liar who constantly hides things from me."
It's an endless loop because Level 3 arguments can never be resolved. You are just debating whose defense mechanism is more damaging.
Yeah.
You can't solve a deeper fear of abandonment or inadequacy with a surface-level argument about who left the dishes in the sink.
You really can't. So the architect's job is to intervene, stop the behavioral combat, and force a Level 4 reset.
And what does Level 4 do?
Level 4 moves past the surface behavior and taps directly into core sovereignty and baseline fears. The architect forces the couple to stop analyzing their partner's flaws and instead articulate their own internal terror. The framework provides precise, disarming scripts to build this bridge.
Let's look at the script for partner A, the peacekeeper who hides the ledger.
Okay.
In the level 3 fight, they would normally say, I hide things because you're crazy and you yell at me. But the level 4 script forces them to turn the lens completely inward. The text mandates, they say, I didn't stay silent because you're a monster. I stayed silent because I am deeply terrified of conflict and I lack the courage to tell you when I'm hurt.
Notice the mechanics of why that phrasing works so well.
Yeah.
By saying, I lack the courage, partner A completely removes the attack vector. They take ownership of the silence, not as a noble sacrifice, but as a personal deficit in bravery.
That's huge.
It strips away their own defense mechanism and offers a raw vulnerability that is incredibly difficult to attack.
You can almost physically feel the tension leave a hypothetical room when those words are spoken. It is almost impossible to keep screaming at someone who has just looked you in the eye and admitted they are terrified and lack courage.
Right, it forces empathy.
And the script for partner B is equally devastating to the old dynamic.
It is. Instead of yelling, you're a fake and a liar, partner B must pivot to their level 4 reality. They must say, I'm not yelling because I want to control you. I'm yelling because finding out I've been in your mind jail makes me feel completely unsafe and disconnected from you.
It strips away every single accusation. It makes it mechanically impossible to sustain the same old fight.
Yeah, you can't stonewall or retreat from someone who just admitted they feel profoundly unsafe and disconnected.
These scripts work because they connect the couple underneath the anger. They bypass the behavioral defense systems and speak directly to the underlying wounds that cause the defense systems to activate in the first place.
And that is the sole function of the vulnerability bridge. If we pull all of these moving parts together, the dismantling of the diagnostic truth, the reaction tax mandate, the 48-hour pricing law, the mentor's summary at the end of the JBYD text crystallizes the ultimate mission.
Right. The goal is to decisively smash the walls of the mind jail.
To teach the couple that an immediate messy truth is infinitely more stable than a delayed polite illusion.
The friction of an honest conversation today is the only thing that prevents the foundational concrete of the relationship from turning into quicksand tomorrow.
Dessous notes that dismantling the mind jail is the exact pivot point for the lifespan of a partnership. This is the crossroads where couples either choose the grueling, uncomfortable work of true, real-time intimacy, or they slide permanently into what the framework calls stage 2 resentment.
Which is the danger zone.
Absolutely. The text warns that once a relationship solidifies into stage 2, the road back is incredibly steep, if not completely impossible.
So, bringing this directly to you, the listener, we started this deep dive talking about that everyday instinct to just swallow a grievance, to bite your tongue to keep the peace.
We've all been there.
Right. But the next time you feel that instinct, the next time your partner does something that crosses a boundary and you are tempted to file it away just to be nice, remember the architecture of the mind jail you are actively building.
Remember that choosing silence isn't protecting the relationship, it is starving it in the dark.
Choosing true intimacy means leaning into that 48-hour window and paying the price of friction in real time.
Because if you choose the illusion of peace, you are engaging in relational insider trading. You are robbing your partner of their reality.
And the eventual inevitable deception shock will cost both of you far more than a difficult 10-minute conversation today ever would.
So true.
As we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with one final lingering thought to mull over. Think back to that hall closet full of oily, flammable rags.
Yeah.
If discovering a secret ledger shatters your partner's trust in your shared history, take a hard look at your own mental courtroom. What insignificant files are you quietly hoarding right now? And what invisible price is your relationship already paying for your polite silence?
Just before you do, JBYD, navigating love at every stage. Thank you for your time today. I hope you have picked up a wisdom or two to help in your relationship from today's video. There are more JBYD videos like this on the channel that looks at relationships from an unusual, different, and practical perspective. Please like, comment, and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help us reach more people. For more information or a no-obligation chat, visit www.justbeforeyoudo.com. Thank you.